In a C language, let us learn the loop today. So what is loop? In a C language, while doing the programming, you need to execute a repeated number of statements until some condition is true or false. So at that time, you can use the loop concept. For example, you want to print you want to print 1 to 100. Suppose you want to print 1 to 100. For example, in the output screen, you want to print 1, 2, 3 up to 100. So you need to write 100 times printf. Printf1, printf2, printf3 and so on. So you need to write the 100 times printf and you are going to print the same thing. You are going to repeat the same statement. So to eliminate this repeated process, we can use loop concept in a C language, which will eliminate all this process, and with the minimum statements, you can use the loop. So it will stop executing. It will stop executing when some condition is false. So in our case, we want to print 1 to 100. So what happens? We are going to start with the 1 and we are going to stop at the 100. So it will stop executing when some condition is false. So why? So what is the best implementation of looping? That is, it reduces the code block. So instead of writing hundreds of statements, it reduces in a few of the codes. Suppose, for example, the same example, suppose we want to print 1 to 100, then we need to use the 100 times printf statement. But using the loop, we can minimize the code in 3 to 4 lines. So to implement the loop, I say 3 points we need to remember. Which are the 3 points? The first point is start point. Second point is condition, or we can say stop point. And third one is increment or decrement part. So how it works? So start point. Suppose we want to print 1 to 100. So from when we will start? We will start from 1 and we will go up to the 100. So 1 is our start point and 100 is our stop point. So how we reach to the 100? So we will increment it by 1. So first time 1 plus 1, then it's 2 plus 1, then it's 3 and so on. So when the value reaches to the 100, it will stop executing. Now what is decrement? So that is the increment we are doing over here. We are incrementing it by 1. Suppose how the decrement? For example, we want to print from 100 to 1. So in this case, our start point is 100 and our stop point is 1. But how we will reach from 100 to 1? So we will decrement it by 1. That is 100, 99, 98, 97 and so on. In C language, how many types of loop available? So there are mainly 3 types of loop available. First one is a for loop. Second one is a while loop. And third one is a do while loop. So what we will learn one by one, that is the syntax of the loop. And the second one is example of the loop. You remember the 3 points. All these 3 points are needs to be included in the loop. First one is the start point. That is, we can say initialization. Second one, that is the stop point. That is condition. And third one, that is the increment part or decrement part. First. So here you will get the syntax of the for loop. So what is the syntax you see? First one is a for, second one is a expression 1, expression 2 and expression 3. Now, what is for? So, for is a keyword. As we know, C supports 32 keywords. So, for is a one of the keyword. When a compiler finds this keyword, it understands that compiler has to execute the looping process. And it's going to check the three expression one by one. If this is true, only then and then it will go inside to execute. Otherwise, it will shows you the error. So what are these expression 1? Expression 1 is nothing but the initialization. Expression 1 is nothing but your first point, that is the initialization. It allows you to declare, initialize any variable which is going to use into the for loop. And this expression 1 executes only once. So, for example, in our example, we want to print 1 to 100. So we want to start it by 1 and we want to stop it at the 100. So 1 will only initialize once. Then it's going to increment it by 1. So this first expression is going to initialize and it's going to execute only once. Expression 2 is a condition. If this condition is true, the code block statements are going to execute. When this condition is going to false, it will stop executing. It will stop executing. So in our case, if it is reaches to the 100, then it will stop. Expression 3, that is the increment part or decrement part. In our case, we want to go from 1 to 100. So we will going to increment it by 1. Let us see the example. Here, for I equals to 0 less than 5, I plus plus. So how it works? Here we can say variable I. So i's value is initialized with the 0. So first time it is going to initialize with the 0. Second time it's going to print the percentage %d and I. So this one is your output screen. So initialization is done at the once. It's going inside. So printf percentage %d of I. So it's going to print the value of I. So what is the value of I? That is 0. So it's going to print the 0. Next time it will execute I plus plus. So I plus plus, that is 0 plus 1 equals to 1. Again printf. So it will print the 1. Next time again I plus plus. So 1 plus 1, it's 2. So it's going to print 2. Again plus plus, it's an 3. So check this condition. 3 is less than 5. Condition is true. So it will print the 3. Again I plus plus, so 4. Condition is true. I is less than 5. 4 is less than 5. Condition is true. So it will print 4. Next time I plus plus, that is 5. But 5 is less than or 5. So condition is false. So it will come out over here. So it will not execute anything. So what is your output? 0, 1, 2, 3 and
Same as the for loop, while loop is another loop. While loop is known as an entry control loop. It is known as an entry control loop. Why it is known as an entry control loop? Let us understand with the syntax. What is the syntax? That it's an keyword, while it's an keyword, and second one is a condition. When this condition is true, the compiler executes the statements inside the start curly bracket and end curly bracket. So it is known as an entry control loop because whenever the loop is going to start, at the entry time it checks the condition, and that is why it is known as an entry control loop. If the condition is false at the entry time, thus the loop is going to stop and go outside. So inner block will not be executed at all. Let us see the example. Here it's one variable I. The value of I equals to 0. So as we know, looping needs one start point. So it's an start point. Second thing is loop require the condition, and that is the stop point. So while I less than and 5. So this loop will start i's value with the 1 and then i's value less than or 5. Printf I. So it will print value of variable I and I plus plus. So first time the value of I equals to 0. So it will print the 0. Then I plus plus. So value equals to 1. It will check the condition. I condition is true. So it will print the 1. Again I plus plus, that is 2. Condition is true. So print the 2. I equals to 3. Condition is true. So print the 3. I equals to 4. Condition is true. Print the 3. Again I plus plus and I equals to 5. But what is the condition? I should be less than 5. That should be 4, not greater than 4. So here the value is 5. So loop will be stop and execute the next statement. So what is the output of this program? So the output will be 0, 1, 2, 3, F and 4. So this is the output of this program. 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. See here you can see 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 is the output. When it reaches to the 5, condition is false and it will stop executing the loop. It is known as a exit control loop. Why? Let us understand with the syntax. See here do, it's an keyword. Then you have the statements and at last you are having the while and the condition. So this code block will execute at least once and at the end it checks the condition. So that is why it executes the statement at least once and check the condition at the end. That is why it is known as a exit control loop. So we must use this loop when we are sure that at least one time all the statements should be executed. Make sure about using this do while loop. Let us understand this with the example. Here the same example I equals to 0. Do printf print the value of the variable I plus plus and 5. So the same way the output will be 0 to 4 because when it reaches to the 5 it will stop executing and it will execute first the value of I and then check the condition. So at least first time it print the 0. Then it makes the I plus plus. So that is equals to I plus 1, that is 0 plus 1